Hello and welcome to Cutting to the Bone in the Post-Truth Apocalypse. I'm Ben and as always I'm hanging out with Mike.
Hello.
Claire.
Hey.
And P.
Hey.
Today we're going to talk about demonic possession, or certainly the Catholic version of demonic possession.
Okay.
And if you are going to die during an exorcism, it's probably going to be during a Catholic one.
Why?
Why? They tend to have this thing where they starve you and don't give you any water. Or beat you.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Sounds about right from them, doesn't it?
Well, they're a bunch of kiddie fiddling fucks, Mike, that's why.
What?
No. It's the biggest paedophile organisation on the fucking planet.
I just thought that was a South Park episode, just being South Park.
Oh, you mean when they've got all the naked kids on leashes like, having the bishops' meeting? Yeah.
Yeah, I know, yeah. So fucking wrong, innit? Dirty bastards.
Before I get into that, and I think I'm not wrong in saying we're going to have this as a two-parter, because there's quite a lot to it. There's no shortage of exorcism stories, let's put it that way, and most of them you may have heard. We're going to go through one that was turned into a film later on.
The Exorcist by any chance?
Actually, technically two then. Yeah, they're scary, aren't they? They are. They're a bit scary, they're a bit creepy, they're a bit weird.
If there is truth behind it, and what they've accounted is God's honest truth kind of thing, then fuck yeah, it's scary. If it's all just kind of made up bullshit to like making it worse than it is, and it's just somebody with mental illness, then
Hyper-religiosity.
What?
Hyper-religiosity.
Okay.
When you're so damn religious, you kind of want this shit to happen to you because it proves your faith.
Right. Is this a bit like where you get these fucking crazy healers in America that like they have these big massive audiences and they're like, come up and I'll touch you with the power of God and you will fall down, and they all
You mean the evangelicals?
Yeah, and they touch them on the head and they all sort of fall down and start having fits on the floor. Is that what that would be then?
No, most of those people are paid shills.
Well, yes.
But yes, in a way, if they're not a paid shill, well, I'll guarantee you they won't be cured after, but they'll certainly think they might be for a bit. The placebo effect, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's like the fascist evangelicals in the government that want to bring on the apocalypse.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Those ones. People like Mike Pence, he never came out and said it as much. He was certainly part of that organisation that's like, we don't actually care if the planet survives because we're all going to go to heaven, fuck the rest of you, kind of view.
That's why they celebrated it when Trump made Jerusalem capital of Israel. Because apparently that's a sign of the end times.
He recognised it as the capital of Israel, didn't he?
Yeah.
But then again, if they're looking at Revelations, and we've talked about this previously, then that's actually bullshit, and they're believing in a book that's nothing to do with the Bible. They got mixed up. But first, let's thank some new returning listeners. We've got some new ones this week, definitely. Where shall I start? Garden Grove in California, Guatemala City, Guatemala, Singapore in Singapore, Tehran in the Islamic Republic of Iran. He keeps coming back, hasn't he or she? Hasn't been stoned to death yet for listening to us.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Tijuana in Mexico, where I'm told you can go and watch a donkey sex show.
Oh, nasty. 2 donkeys?
No, a donkey and a woman.
Oh.
Well, worse is a donkey and a man, which I've kind of seen in Clerks too.
Yeah. In Dubai, there's Seattle, Washington, Perth in Australia, London, UK, Liverpool, the United Kingdom, New York City, New York, Bengaluru in India, oh god, one in Poland.
Hold on. Come on. Make an effort now.
Hubizao.
I'd have thought the H would be silent.
Oh, Rubizov. Because these W's are V's. Rubizov,
That's
maybe?
Probably
Maybe.
closer.
Yeah.
So
I have to stop and
away.
think about Polish pronunciation. I had a Polish girlfriend and not much of it rubbed off on me. Boardman, Oregon, Abu Dhabi even, in the United Arab Emirates. A couple of them this week, fair play. Must be people on holiday, I'm guessing. Or some slave labourer building the stadiums. That's Qatar. Ruslip in the UK, Guadalajara, Spain, and Ashburn, Virginia.
Hey, Ashburn.
Presumably our Argentina listeners too busy crying about the Falklands this week. 40th anniversary, isn't it, this week? Right, let's talk about demonic possession and move off that tinderbox of political debate that I nearly set up.
Is that noise?
It's just the heating expanding the
Right,
pipes.
I don't think I've ever heard that in here.
It goes.
Well, it's either that or Mike's flat is possessed.
Well, I was thinking, noisy above you, and I was thinking, hold on, no, this is the top floor, it can't be that. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
And just the talk of demonic possessions fucking bringing on the demons.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I don't know if the listener caught it, but you can hear the pipes expanding when the central heating comes on. It's gone fucking cold in England again, even though we're in April.
Yep.
Yeah. Thermals have come back on. Too bad it is.
Mine haven't got off yet.
Mine went off last week.
Yeah, for about 3 minutes.
Yeah, I cracked out the sandals for 2 days last week.
So according to CatholicEducation.org,
Oh, the most reliable source ever, I'd imagine.
the devil and his demons can indeed possess an individual.
The devil can as well.
Yeah,
He takes his own time out to
Yeah.
Yeah.
possess people himself.
I know he's got a busy schedule, but he does fit it in.
Fair enough.
He'll want to walk among us, won't he?
Yeah, sometimes he
It's
wants
a holiday, isn't it?
Yeah.
he wants to put on a different suit and walk around in his new
Why would
suit.
he do that? He's the devil.
Why not?
Because he can just incarnate himself.
He's banished, isn't he? He's banished to
Into-
hell.
Human?
That's the whole point, wasn't it? Wasn't he banished to hell?
Mm-hmm.
Well, in 2,000 years, I'm sure he's found himself a way out so far.
Of course, haven't you seen Lucifer, the TV show? He's
Well, that's what I was
in Los Angeles solving crimes.
Constantine.
Or Constantine. Yeah, well, either way.
Boring ass film that was.
It wasn't great.
I tried watching it again recently.
It's okay. I don't mind it.
Constantine's actually better in the DC animated universe, where he's a bit more powerful. Christ also empowered the apostles to cast out demons in his name, which I kind of like. It's a nice perk of hanging around with Jesus, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
Could give me the water into wine thing, though. I prefer that.
Yeah.
And free fish.
And the free fish. Although people may stop hanging around you if you have too much free fish. Yeah. The practice of exorcism is recorded in the writings of the early church fathers, including Saint Justin, who was martyred in 165.
That's when he died, I think.
Well, he said martyred there. He's martyr. Tertullian, who died in 230, and Saint Cyril of Jerusalem, who died in 386. I'm assuming that's all AD. Over the course of the centuries, the church has well-documented cases of possession and exorcism, including the one which was the basis of the original Exorcist movie. Although neither Hollywood nor the book was faithful to the facts. And what are the facts, Catholicism? What are the facts? Then Father Jordan Oman, a noted professor of spiritual theology, offers the following definition of demonic possession. This is diabolical. I can't read that word without pronouncing it like that. Possession is a phenomenon in which the devil invades the body of a living person and moves the faculties and organs as if he were manipulating a body of his own. The devil truly resides within the body of the unfortunate victim, and he operates in it and treats it as his own property. And those who suffer this despotic invasion are said to be possessed. End the quote there.
However, the soul cannot be possessed. That remains free. So it's in a state of suspended animation when they're taken over by the demon.
Okay.
So this guy says, anyway,
Well,
You know.
obviously.
he obviously really believes this. I don't, so I'm going to differ with him. Now, in determining whether a person is possessed by the devil or his demons, the church would first make sure he underwent thorough physical and psychiatric examinations. Eliminating these natural causes, church officials would seek other signs or explainable physical phenomena such as levitation or the uncaused movement of objects, displaying strength that surpasses one's condition, the knowledge and usage of archaic languages the person would have no way of previously knowing, such as speaking Aramaic, and the secret knowledge of a person's life, particularly the exorcist, which no other person would know. Another sign is the vehement aversion to God, the Blessed Mother, the saints, the crucifix and sacred images, demonstrated by blasphemous remarks or sacrilegious actions. That sounds like the last time I was in a Catholic church. The devil also reveals his presence by acts of anger and violence and through blasphemous, sacrilegious, profane and obscene remarks.
Your mother sucks cocks in hell.
That sounds like me. Last time I went into a Catholic church.
I don't think I've ever been in a Catholic church.
No, I don't think I have either, to be honest.
I have, once for a christening, a baptism, and I've been to Rome, haven't I? So you tend to pop in a few.
I went in a Mormon church a couple of years back and genuinely thought I was going to melt as I walked in there.
I would have been in Spain.
Why did they have some treated on?
I was just thinking I've been in a couple of churches
Yeah,
in
in
Spain.
Spain.
They might have been.
They would have been Catholic, yeah.
There are candles
yeah.
you can light and that.
Yeah.
I would have been to a Catholic church. It was up on top of the mountain in Menorca.
An inaccessible place.
I think I've been there.
Proper mad little... Because Menorca's so little,
Yeah.
it's like Isle of Wight, isn't it? But yeah, that's dead smack in the middle. There's a great big mountain. And right at the top of the mountain, this old church. So I guess, yeah, that would have been Catholic.
Yeah, it would have been.
Quite impressive.
Yeah.
Of course, though, they don't always give them a psychiatric examination, but it still boils down to the priest or the person's choice. If they want the exorcism in their little lucid moments, or their family does, then they can have it. And they'll turn them down for it, even if they think they are psychologically disturbed or have a psychiatric condition. Which poor old Annalise Nichols did. Who'll learn about. She got turned into a film.
Which film was that?
The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Ah, right, yes.
Never seen it. I've never seen The Exorcist.
I've only seen it once, I think. It's so far-fetched.
I've seen clips of it.
And
The best bits,
memes and
yeah.
other films taking the piss out of it.
Yeah. I've never actually seen it.
I think I've watched it twice.
I've seen it a few times.
And I don't think it's one of them films you can just put on for a laugh. For a laugh, like, is it? It's
I fancy watching The Exorcist tonight. Yeah.
Like
cheer me up.
Schindler's List.
exactly. It's in that category.
Great film, but you have to be in a certain
not long
mood to
ago.
watch it, don't you?
Watched it not long ago.
Did you?
Yeah. Just try and find shit to watch. I'm bored. When I was at home, I think I was on holiday or something. I can't remember. But yeah. I was fucking bored and everyone was out and I was thinking, what can I watch that kids aren't here so I can watch whatever I want.
I'd have just been straight on the laptop with porn, to be honest.
I'd already done that.
No.
Used PlayStation 50-inch. Size of the TV, not my member.
I was going to say that just being convenient. And they'll hang at your leg no matter unless you're like 12 foot tall.
Keep standing on your belly.
Yeah.
Ow! What's the matter with you? Nothing, I'm just trying to walk.
No! Exactly. Now, the Roman ritual prescribes the rite of exorcism, containing a series of prayers, blessings, and invocations in the exorcising of the devil, which is the sacred congregation for divine worship and the disciple of the sacraments. A revised ritual was done on the 26th of January 2000, obviously with the approval of Pope John Paul II.
So is there a sort of strain of the church that's sort of what you can specialise in exorcism?
Yeah, there is, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Genuinely, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I got offered a course on Facebook this week.
Yeah.
My targeted ads have moved from volunteering to fight for Ukraine to I was getting them. I don't know why.
Yeah.
No, probably because I spend all my time looking at podcast shit, so I end up. And then this week I'm getting bloody free course to be an ordained exorcist.
Maybe you combine the two and be a military priest.
Like smiting sinners.
Casting demons out on the battlefield.
Using demons as battlefield tools. Like keeping them in little grimoires.
A little bit like a cross between The Exorcist and Ghostbusters then.
Yes! And they'd have solved this problem straight away though. They'd just proton blast you, wouldn't they?
That's where the crossover comes in because you draw out the demon doing the exorcism but then capture it in some kind of...
Trap.
What would you call it? Well, there is a name for them in fact. It's a fucking box and it's sealed
The
in...
spirit box.
The spirit box, it's all sealed in fucking wax and shit like that.
to have a belt full of them like grenades.
There is another name for them.
I'll tell you what, we're gonna refer to them as holy hand grenades from now on.
Cool.
Unholy hand grenades.
Unholy hand grenades. Because you'd be like, just popping these things into trenches and the Russians would be getting devoured by demons.
But then you're unleashing demons onto the world.
Yeah, but I've already exercised.
They only like the Russians. They only eat the Russians.
So you raise them, Mike, so you train them.
Do deal with them.
What happens if I know their true names?
No, you'd be able
I'll
to-
have power over them, I can control them.
Yeah, but it'd be more realistic if it was like, you know, you're fighting the enemy and the captains and things are obviously possessed by demons because they can, you know, control their men and stuff. So you can cast the demons out their captains and they lose their leadership. And
You're saying that the Russians are in fact
They are
controlled by
actually
demons?
Well, they
Their
control.
field officers are possessed by demons, is
I
that
want
what
to
you're
make it
saying?
known this is not my thing. I don't believe in any of this shit. It's just conjecture. But
What happens at the end scene? Like exorcise Putin. His head starts spinning round and shit. Vomiting pea soup everywhere.
it's better than unleashing demons on the world, isn't it?
I quite like the idea of having like demons contained in little spirit casks that I can launch at people.
It's a bit Pokemon, isn't it?
It isn't exactly. Think of the demons like Pokemon.
Never watch the shit.
Yeah, but you're familiar with the concept.
Not particularly.
I'm not going to go into it then.
Please don't. I'd rather shit my pants and rolling it than.
Well, okay.
Film was good. The Pikachu film was good.
Well, he's a
Other than
Pokemon.
that,
The holy arsenal of weapons used in an exorcism include sacramental confession, the reception of Holy Communion, fasting and prayer, particularly saying the Rosary, the use of sacramentals like blessings with holy water, the presence of a crucifix or other religious images, blessings with the relics of the saints, and the invocation of the names of Jesus, the Blessed Virgin Mary, and Saint Michael, and the Holy Chainsaw.
The what?
The Holy
What?
Chainsaw. I made that last one up.
No.
I was waiting for a holy hand
I was trying to
grenade.
read it.
I was waiting for a
It's
holy
an
hand
Evil
grenade
Dead.
to come out. He was in.
Powered by holy water, man. Yeah, he was in Telford.
He
the
was in
weekend.
Telford this
Yeah.
week, old Bruce.
70 quid for a photo with him, man.
I know, bastard.
David Tennant was 90.
No way.
90 quid for a photo with David Tennant, Doctor
Don't just
Who.
rock up at the town centre and go. You're like,
Guy who, no, it's Comic Con.
oh, Comic Con, yeah.
The guy who played
So
Flash
much.
Gordon in the movie was there.
I'd just
Cool.
I'd just stand in the queue and get my phone out and just be like,
Didn't they have people stopping you doing that?
It should be all in. You've paid the ticket.
No,
surely.
no, these are people get there.
they're there
Subcontractors.
to make money. The only reason stars go to these Comic-Cons is to make money, because they'll get £100 per photo and they might sell 100 of those that day. 10 fucking grand for standing around getting your picture taken.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
It is, isn't it?
It is.
I believe, I can't remember who it was now, but there was somebody that was £400. £400 to have a photo taken with
That's
them.
capitalism for me.
A few years back, a
Can't
couple of
even
years
take
ago,
a
I heard
selfie.
this, and I can't. Oh no, it's £400 to have like a short one-to-one with them. It was John Barrowman. It was my friend from work, and she was obsessed with him, and she had this ticket bought to go and see John Barrowman and chat with him. And I think it was like a 10-minute chat. It was like £400 for the ticket.
Aren't these cunts wealthy enough?
Well.
Fucking hell, there's kids fucking going hungry in the country and there's...
You are right. At the same time, though, if they want to pay 400 quid to spend 10 minutes with you, fucking let 'em.
Someone said to you, can I give you £400 to talk to you for 10 minutes? You'd be quite chuffed to go, yeah, alright. Just put your machete
Remember,
down.
Not if I was a millionaire.
But your fame is finite. May not last forever. Your money may not last forever. You've got to make it while you can. Same as a professional footballer.
Look at Gary Glitter.
Well, yeah, I mean, he saved all the work
He had
for years as a
everything.
musician to get out of that house in Cambodia.
He had everything. Literally.
But, you know, it's what you got to look at, isn't it? You've got a finite career. You're either there as long as your looks last, or until you say something that people don't like, and then you're gone. Might as well make the money while you can. If someone wants to pay me 400 quid for 10 minutes of my time, you know, I'll send you my bank details. Unless you're a Nigerian prince.
I've kind of had that before when I used to sell windows. It's like,
I just believe that if you buy a ticket somewhere, it should be all in. You know, you don't.
Yeah, no, I agree. Especially when you're paying 70 quid just to get in.
Yeah.
Into Comic-Con.
It's not 70 quid to get in.
Yeah, it was like I think it was either 59 or 69 pounds for a ticket to get in.
1 day ticket.
Yeah. Lee was looking at him the other night.
Oh.
Mad.
The exorcism ritual.
The exorcism ritual is repeated until the devil is cast out of the person, at which time the exorcist petitions God to never permit the devil to possess that person again.
Oh, so you got...
Surely he could have just done that in the first place, though, couldn't he?
You got immunity for life then. At least it comes with a lifetime guarantee. Like,
not many things do.
No.
But is it only that particular demon that can't possess him again?
And more to the point, I'd be asking God, if you can stop him possessing me, why didn't you just do that in the first place?
Why just stop him from possessing me? Yeah.
What'd you put me that for? Oh, sorry, it's the plan, isn't it?
There you
Forgot
go.
about the plan. The mysterious plan.
Well, it's like bloody what's himself.
God moves in mysterious ways, Ben.
Yeah.
You can't explain it.
Who is it that loses
That's the
his
biggest
son?
cop out ever invented.
Who is it that sacrifices his son and loses crops and all that lot?
Abraham was told to, but he didn't do. He was like a sacrifice your son, Abraham. Okay, you sick fuck. I was only joking. Just at the last minute kind of thing stopped him doing it. Test of his faith.
Wasn't the one that brought like small like meteorites down onto all their crops and things like that?
You thinking of Sodom and Gomorrah?
I don't know.
How would you know if you're possessed?
Because you start twisting your neck around further than it should go.
I think you're just going to start acting strange at first, aren't you? Just out
You
of the
possessed.
ordinary. Not at the moment.
She purdy.
So, Father Cip, this is an article from thebigthink.com, how to know if you're possessed, and Father Cipriano de Maio, who has been an exorcist since 1952, revealed to the Italian Catholic news agency that the key to telling whether you're possessed or suffer from some other possibly mental illness is in your reaction to the exorcist himself and the prayers being offered. He specified that the exorcist will usually say a prolonged prayer to the point where if the adversary is present, I'm guessing the adversary is the demon or Satan himself, there's a reaction. A possessed person has various general attitudes towards an exorcist who is seen by the adversary as an enemy ready to fight him. So if you are possessed, you are likely to experience a very unsettling reaction to the exorcist's prayer. Father De Maio described it like this: there is no lack of frightening facial expressions, threatening words or gestures and other things, but especially blasphemies against God and Our Lady. Basically, you will know something seriously wrong has taken over you, or it's been me after 5 pints. It's debating a religious person.
So in the movies, it's usually, eyes are rolling in the back of their heads and
Yeah, there are cases of that.
convulsion.
There are cases of that. There's cases of levitation. There's marks appearing on the body, things like that.
Speaking in tongues.
Speaking in tongues, possessing great strength.
There's quite a few accounts of speaking in tongue. There was the girl from the Essex. The 2 girls that were in the bedroom. We're talking like 70s, early 80s, and there's like loads of footage of them getting like flown about by
The Enfield Poltergeist.
Enfield,
The Enfield Poltergeist. Yeah, that was an odd one because
she would talk. He would talk through the girl, wouldn't he?
Yeah, and they could never figure out whether she was just a naturally talented ventriloquist or this was happening, because all the pictures that were ever taken of that particular scene could just be girls jumping on the bed.
Could be, yes. But
then there's a lot of other stuff that went on, but it's all about the investigators that are there, isn't it?
But to tie in with this, it was the voices, and been lots of like vocal coaches, doctors that said, look, if you were prolonged doing that voice,
oh yeah, you are right.
she'd have really like damaged her larynx and things like that at the time. And she'd have had like terrible fucking.
Yeah.
She'd have ended up having tonsillitis or something from it because the way it wasn't.
The vibrations going through you,
Yeah, not good. It's like screaming for like an hour.
Like, just do that for
Yeah, it hurts.
a couple of seconds, and it feels scratchy, doesn't it?
So that was a good bits of evidence to say,
you're right.
there was something, I will say, paranormal about that incident. Because I wouldn't say necessarily it was demonic possession, but...
it was definitely a poltergeist.
Yeah.
Was it?
Well,
Definitely was a poltergeist.
No, it definitely was.
Here first.
What I'm saying is it's classified as a poltergeist probably in Tobin's Spirit Guide. Ghostbusters reference. I own that. And in terms of general glossary of classifying ghosts, it's a poltergeist, isn't it? It was moving stuff around. It was a noisy ghost. That's what it's German. That's what it translates to.
But he had the ability to
communicate in some way
through her voice.
Yeah, it was an odd
Very
one.
strange.
The investigator's got the best name ever. Actually, it's Guy Lyon Playfair, which I think is fantastic. Posh sounding English chap. We'll do the Enfield Poltergeist one day. That'll be a 2-parter. That's a biggie. Interesting one though. It is interesting. If you're interested in training to be an exorcist, however, Father DeMeo apparently has just such a school that he's been leading for 13 years. It might be a worthwhile endeavour. For example, in 2014, the International Association of Exorcists... Oh man, I want to be a card-carrying member of that. When people, exorcists coming through... They indicated there was a rise in occult activity they deemed a pastoral emergency.
See, I'd be in all the shops I would if I had one of them ID cards.
So do you take my exorcist card?
Yeah, well, I mean that. Do I get a discount, for being an exorcist?
Exorcist discount? I am protecting the earth from demons.
Yeah. Well,
you're welcome.
When you're in the forces, you get forces discount. So
I'm in God's army, mate.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was thinking.
Pastoral emergency, really?
Yeah, a pastoral emergency. What should you do to avoid getting possessed? Well, you can stop believing in religion, for a start.
Yeah.
You don't see atheists getting possessed, do you?
No.
No, you don't. Tends to be people...
I've not seen many people get possessed.
Haven't you? You need to get out more, mate. You get yourself down Dawley High Street on a Saturday night about a kicking out time from the pubs.
That's that fucking zombie drug thing, innit? That fucking possession. They're just fucked. Spice, they're all fucked on spice. Licking lampposts and shit.
Obviously, that's a joke. I don't think the people of Dawley are possessed.
But they are fucked on spice.
No, there's none of that.
Right, they're just messed up.
Just drunk.
On spice.
There's nothing wrong with that. You should start with prayer. Obviously, because that's what the church wants you to do, isn't it?
Oh, I just remember.
Turn up to church, pray, and give us some money. It's also important to avoid anything to do with Satan, conjuring the dead, or revealing future events. Well, that's my Saturday night gone.
I'll keep that one in mind.
That's my Saturday night over with.
And you got to lead a good and sinless life.
Oh, well, that's me definitely out.
Oh, we're all fucked, Rick.
Yeah.
We've all sinned.
There's
How
only
many
that
people haven't sinned?
There's only that blind nun in Argentina.
Yeah. There's over 600 commandments, mate, so,
Anybody that had sex before marriage sinned. Done. That's it.
I think it's just that blind nun in Argentina. Yeah. And she's too busy crying over the Falklands this week.
Coveting thy neighbour's ass. We've all done that.
In fact, the Catechism states that consulting horoscopes, astrology, palm reading, interpretation of omens and lots, the phenomena of clairvoyance and recourse to mediums all conceal a desire for power over time, history, and in the last analysis, other human beings, as well as a wish to conciliate hidden powers.
I didn't want to bring the dead back to life.
I don't know, don't get your palm read. Or do you get your palm read? I don't know, shit, it sounds real.
So, mate, all of that.
It leads, if you do all that, it leads you open to possession.
But anybody that does that...
Probably won't believe in God anyway, will they?
Well, no, not necessarily. You'll find they have protection, they cast protection over it anyway, like... Laura would do that. She she opens and closes things like.
I see exactly what you're saying. If you're a Wiccan, but then you don't believe in this.
No.
So it just cancels it out.
But there's a lot of things connected in lots of different ways, isn't there? But it's like Laura deals with spirits, so she has to protect herself from potential knob spirits that might want to come in and be knobbish. If you believe all of that, then yeah. but she protects herself, and she'll like close down when she's opened herself up to it. Afterwards, she'll close herself down, so she's not letting in things without her knowledge.
Always shut down. Whether it be a laptop or your spiritual self.
Exactly. But yes, there is. So you'd thought any of these clairvoyants, etc., already know that they'd be doing that anyway. So don't worry. Go and see a clairvoyant. You're not going to get possessed if you do.
What if you're a clairvoyant who's not very good?
They're not on about the clairvoyant getting possessed, they're on about you getting possessed.
Yes, but they protect you. That's what I'm saying. They don't just protect themselves, they protect you as well.
No, this is a different thing. I see where you're coming from. I get it. So they're protecting you in the spirit world.
In that time, what they're doing, they are protecting you.
You going to see that, and then you go, oh, well, maybe I'll get my tarot cards done. And then you start reading about the occult, and before you know it, you're worshipping Satan and leaving yourself open to possession. It's the start of a slippery slope, just like marijuana.
I was about to say, just like smoking weed, yeah, you'll be a smackhead next week if you have that spliff.
Don't do drugs, kids. So let's go to the harrowing exorcism of Roland Doe, which is the true story behind The Exorcist.
This was a boy, not a girl, wasn't it?
Yeah, they changed it. And according to that priest, they changed a lot, which I'd imagine they would.
Yeah.
So in 1949, priests performed an exorcism on a boy referred to as Roland Doe, aka Ronald Hunkler, in a chilling ordeal that became the real-life inspiration for The Exorcist. The picturesque Belle Noire neighbourhood of St. Louis, Missouri sits a beautiful colonial-style house on Roanoke Drive. It was once the home of a boy called Roland Doe, aka Robbie Mannheim, or Roland Hunkler. Looks normal on the outside, it's all bricks, got white shutters, looks lovely, fantastic. It's a typical American colonial house.
Yep.
Gotta love it. His story begins in the late 1940s in suburban Washington DC with a German-American family. The 13-year-old boy, believed to be named Ronald Hunkler, was despondent over the loss of his beloved Aunt Harriet, and she was a spiritualist who taught him many things, including how to use a Ouija board.
Oh, there we go. Mistake number one.
It's the devil's portal!
Yeah.
Or
Messing
is
with
it?
the dark arts, isn't he?
Or is it? I think only if you've got issues and you really believe. In early January 1949, shortly after Harriet's death, after playing with the Ouija board, Ronald began to experience strange things. He heard scratching sounds coming from the floors and walls of his room. Water dripped inexplicably from pipes and walls. And most troubling of all was his mattress had suddenly moved. I'd say that's quite troubling.
Mm-hmm.
Big bed bugs.
Oh, rats. Lots of rats.
I sleep on a bed of rats, don't you?
That's the only way to sleep. Disturbed, Ronald's family sought the help of every expert they knew. They consulted doctors, psychiatrists and their local Lutheran minister, but they were no help. And the minister suggested the family seek the assistance of the Jesuits. They're a bit like, they're the guys who do the exorcism.
Right.
Are they like the... I'm going to... what's that film with Tom Hanks in?
Jesuits, that's Jesus, isn't it? Jesuits, basically.
The Da Vinci Code. Is he like that guy with white hair that...
Beats himself.
Yeah.
No, but they are like that, a sect of Catholicism that's got...
Yeah.
I don't know if the Jesuits do that. I know they like to do the exorcisms. I don't think any really members of the church tend to do the flogging thing nowadays unless they're ultimately fanatical. Then again, there's always a few in there. There's them Filipino guys who get crucified and whipped.
Are there?
Yeah.
Sounds like a fun Saturday night.
Easter, right, in the Philippines, they reenact the crucifixion. They don't actually kill someone, but they tie a bloke to the cross, and the other people will be whipping themselves and
They
stuff,
don't
yeah.
disembowel them and
No.
spread their entrails all over the floor. Oh,
And then bathe in it. No.
Oh, it's just not good enough, is it?
It's not. Now, Father E. Albert Hughes, the local Catholic priest, asked his superior's permission to perform an exorcism on the boy in late February of 1949, and the church granted his request. For the exorcism, Hughes strapped the boy to the mattress, well, he wouldn't be the first Catholic to do that, and began his recitations. But he had to stop the rite when Ronald broke off a piece of mattress spring and slashed the priest across the shoulders, leaving the exorcism unfinished. A few days later, red scratches appeared on the boy. One of the scratches formed the word Lewis, which indicated to Ronald's mother the family needed to go to St. Louis, where they had relatives, to find a way to save their son.
Could have been a trap.
Could have been. Now, a cousin of the family was attending St. Louis University at the time of Ronald's struggles, and she put the Hunkelars in touch with Father Walter H. Halloran and Reverend William Bowden. After consulting with the university's president, these two Jesuits agreed to perform an exorcism on young Ronald with the help of several assistants. They gathered at the residence on Roanoke Drive in the early March of 1949, and there the exorcist witnessed scratching on the boy's body and the mattress moving violently. And these are the same types of things that happened in Maryland when the first exorcism failed. Amid these bizarre happenings, however, Bowden and Halloran noticed a pattern in Ronald's behaviour. He was calm and normal during the day, but at night, after settling in for bed, he would exhibit strange behaviour, including screaming and wild outbursts.
Nightmare.
Night terrors.
I was thinking night terrors.
He would also enter a trance-like state and start making sounds in a guttural voice. The priests also said they saw objects mysteriously flying in the boy's presence, and noted he would react violently when he saw any sacred object presented by the attending Jesuit priests. At one point during the weeks-long ordeal, Bowden reportedly saw an X appear in scratches on Ronald's chest, which the priest believed signified the number 10. In another instant, a pitchfork-shaped pattern of red lines moved from the boy's thigh and snaked down towards his ankle. These type of things happened every night for more than a month. Once the red X appeared on Ronald's chest, that led the priest to believe he was possessed by 10 demons.
Oh, fucking hell.
You do find that's the case. They do seem to come in multiples. A demon's like buses. You wait ages for one and then shitload show up at once. The two priests never gave up as they continued the exorcism night after night, and on the evening of March 20th it reached an unhealthy new level. Ronald urinated all over his bed and began shouting and cursing at the priests. Now Ronald's parents had had enough, and they took him to the Alexian Brothers Hospital in St. Louis for more serious treatment. Finally, on April 18th, a miracle, in quotes, occurred in Ronald's room at Alexian Brothers. It was the Monday after Easter, and Ronald awoke with seizures. He yelled at the priest, saying Satan would always be with him. Metal! Then he took a guitar, started shredding, and the priest laid holy relics, crucifixes, medals and rosaries on the boy. At 10:45 p.m. that evening, the attending priest called on St. Michael to expel Satan from Ronald's body. They shouted at Satan, saying that St. Michael would battle him for Ronald's soul. And 7 minutes later, Ronald came out of his trance and said, "He's gone." The boy recounted how he had a vision that St. Michael vanquished Satan on a great battlefield. That is pretty metal though, isn't it? I'd watch that.
God,
why wasn't that in the fucking film?
Yeah.
According to Bowden and Halloran, the strange occurrences and behaviour ceased after that, and he went on to live a completely normal life from that moment forwards. But no one would have known about it if it wasn't for The Exorcist. 1971, William Peter Blatty penned the best-selling novel, based on the unofficial diaries kept by Halloran and Bowden. Stayed on the bestseller list for 54 weeks and spawned the hit movie in 1973.
And then got banned from most cinemas.
Yeah. That backwards crab walk is a bit freaky. Although the scratches, shouting, spitting and cursing in the movie mimicked what Ronald had experienced, the boy's head never turned 360 degrees, and he never vomited green matter during his many tantrums, and nor did he use a bloody crucifix to masturbate. I should hope not, he's a dude.
What about his arse?
That's all, yeah.
Yeah, that was just a bit of artistic licence.
I guess so.
Sick fucker. Crucifix masturbation thing. She's a 13-year-old girl, I've always thought that was a bit. And that was one of the main reasons why it was banned.
Yeah, probably.
And because still in the late 60s it was still quite a religious everywhere still believed in religion, didn't they?
They did.
A lot more than they do 40, 50 years on.
Yes, and America's always been a fairly religious country, hasn't it?
I remember my mum saying when she went to the cinema to watch it, there was priests stood outside the cinema trying his hardest to stop people going in to watch it.
I've heard that happened, yeah.
In the days before multi-screen, so it was like one screen, one cinema, and you went there and there was a priest outside saying, no, don't go in!
But why not? It backs up their story and it shows...
Because if you watch it, then you start getting interested in doing Ouija boards, and before you know it, Mike, everyone's possessed by demons. It's that slippery... It's say no, isn't it? It's a gateway drug. You get interested in this stuff. Before you know it, you can dabble in a Ouija board, just trying to summon Satan. You read the collected works of Aleister Crowley and start doing the Moonchild ritual, trying to give birth to the fucking Antichrist with the Whore of Babylon. Sounds pretty fun to me though, let's do that shit. Alright, the next one, I found this one from Britain. And I have heard of this one before, it's an interesting one. The Exorcism of Michael Taylor. Michael Taylor, 31 years old, father to 5 children and husband to Christine Taylor. It was 1974 and Michael was living what appeared to be an idyllic life. They lived in a small home in Ossett, West Yorkshire, and neighbours described Michael as mild-mannered and generally kind. Occasionally Michael would suffer from depressive episodes. He would become withdrawn and refuse to interact with family and friends. Family would later say a back injury earlier in life which caused issues in Michael finding full-time employment was to blame. Nevertheless, by all accounts, he was a caring father and husband. And though they weren't devout, they lived a few miles from multiple churches but never really found the time to attend. Although in a highly religious town like Ossett, this behaviour just wouldn't stand.
You know?
Well, I suppose it's like, which church you go to? Why aren't you at church? Oh, they don't go to church. Heathens. Heathens in Ossett. Never thought I'd see a day. A friend of Michael's, who had decided his depression was caused by spiritual forces, convinced him to start attending a weekly prayer meeting. This was run by one Marie Robinson, a very attractive 25-year-old. Her soft-spoken form of old-time religion seemed to appeal to Michael, at least so that's what everyone thought in the beginning. They did go on to spend a lot of time together. Read into that what you will. At first he just threw himself into the prayer group, going to every meeting and all functions. He quickly fell deeper into Marie's teachings, attending meetings where group members were exorcised and demons were cast out with what they call the power of God. And yes, I will say it, they were fucking. At least for a bit. On off.
Marie is the devil.
She's an attractive 25-year-old and he's a 31-year-old who's depressive with a bad back.
It's a tale of the ages.
Not that bad.
Not that bad, clearly. She began offering private meetings to Michael. During these meetings, Mike and Marie would sit across from each other and make the sign of the cross over and over, sometimes for 8+ hours.
Oh, fuck it, no.
They believed doing this would nullify the evil power of the full moon. And it was clear that Michael had fallen head over heels in love with Marie, and this was the problem. He was in love with her. It was just a bit of fun for her. His time away at church and private prayer meetings was starting to be noticed in his home life, and when he wasn't around Marie, he became withdrawn, slipping into deep depression. He would become sullen and argumentative and would lash out at his family. Christine had a suspicion the prayer group wasn't doing Michael any favours, and nor were his private meetings with Marie, which may have been less than pious. During the next prayer meeting they attended, Christine openly confronted Michael about his time with Marie. Something inside of Michael Taylor broke. He stood up and instead of addressing his wife, he began to attack Marie, both verbally and physically, and he was still shouting at her in tongues when the rest of the congregation restrained him. Later, Marie would have this to say. I suddenly glanced at Mike and his whole features changed. He looked almost bestial. He kept looking at me and there was a really wild look in his eyes. I started screaming at him out of fear. I started speaking in tongues. Mike also screamed at me in tongues. I was on the verge of death and I seemed to come to my senses. I knew only the name of Jesus would save me. And I just started saying over and over again, Jesus! Jesus Christ, stop strangling me, Michael! When Christine heard me calling on the name of Jesus, she started saying it too. And I firmly believe that I was only by calling on his name that I was not killed. Michael, claiming he had no memory of this happening, at the next meeting he would go on to receive full absolution from Marie, so she forgives him, which is nice of her, although I still think he's might have known exactly what he was fucking doing. To be honest, still his outburst had not gone unrecognised. People were talking and none of it was good. A local vicar called on a group of ministers and declared that Michael was currently suffering from a demonic possession and would need an exorcism. Any thoughts on that?
Well, of course it is a local vicar. That's what he's going to say, isn't it? Why didn't they go to a mental health professionalist?
Yeah.
I think they might have got a different diagnosis.
So do I. On October 5th, 1974, Father Peter Vincent and Reverend Raymond Smith met Michael at the St Thomas Church in Gorber. It's in Yorkshire. I'm probably going to be killed by the fucking ghost of Sean Bean now for saying something in Yorkshire wrong.
He's not dead, is he?
He can project himself like Luke Skywalker. Every time you say something like a Yorkshire name wrong, he just turns up, screams, "You bastard!" and punches you in the face. Bastard! Exactly. The prayer group was also in attendance, and over the next 8 hours they would perform the sacred rite of exorcism. Michael began thrashing, convulsing and spitting and had to be tied to the floor of the church. Why does the church have things for people to be tied to, say, on the floor?
Not dodgy at all.
No. A crucifix was jammed into his mouth and he was completely soaked with holy water. By 8 a.m. on October 6th, the priests couldn't continue. They were exhausted.
They were exhausted because it wasn't holy water, it was holy jizz.
And by their admission, they had cast out more than 40 demons from Michael. The priest said the exorcism would have to be finished at a later date and advised Michael not to worry. They had only left but 3 demons to be exorcised. Murder, madness and violence. Aren't those the first 3 you should get rid of?
Just a bit. Fucking hell. You know, the mischief and the
speaking in tongues, leave that in. Murder, madness and violence. Look, get them the fuck out straight away. First one's out the door.
They're the hardest ones though. They've got to leave them till last.
Don't just send him home then. Because this tale goes horrible in a second.
Oh dear.
Well, of course, they've left murder, madness and violence. What did you expect?
Michael and Christine were told to go home and prepare for part 2 of the exorcism. At 9:45 in the morning, so only an hour and 45 minutes after the exorcism, police patrolling the area where the Taylors lived discovered a gruesome sight. A man shambling through the streets completely naked and covered in blood. It was, of course, no other than Michael Taylor. The officer that had found Taylor rushed to his home only to find more police officers already there. Neighbours had heard noises and the police were called. The officer approached the house and was waved off by an exiting criminal inspector. Quote, "You don't want to see this one, son. I've seen nothing like it before and I've seen a few. It's the wife. She's got no... He's ripped at her, son. It's a right mess in there. There's not much of her left and you don't want to see it, eh?" After saying this, he then doubled over and vomited in the yard. Upon entering the house, officers were met with what some would call the worst crime scene they've ever worked. Michael had brutally attacked Christine, removing her eyes and tongue before ripping her face off her skull.
Oh, fucking hell.
He then strangled the family dog.
Oh, Jesus.
I know. After the dog was dead, he ripped out its eyes and tore it limb from limb, throwing them around the house. The house was covered, wall to ceiling, in blood. Michael, who was at the time receiving care in a nearby hospital, was arrested. He never provided a motive for killing Christine beyond, "Released, I am released, it is done, the evil in her has been destroyed." So what happened? Was Michael Taylor possessed? The defence didn't think so. He laid blame squarely at the feet of the prayer group and the priests who did the exorcism. He stated the group exacerbated an already cracking mind. He cast doubt on the possession theory by calling it, quote, "neurotics feeding neuroses to a neurotic," end quote.
Sounds about right.
At a trial, Michael was acquitted by reason of insanity, and he received psychiatric care for 4 years before being released back into the public. He could be living next door to you right now.
Fucking hell.
4 years?
Are you sure he's cured?
So says the British justice system, Mike, in what would it be, 1979? Still, the question begs to differ. The question begs, why are you sending a man home who has murder, madness and violence demons still in his body?
Because they were tired.
Well, just leave him tied to the floor and give him some water if you believe in that. To send him home knowingly with those 3 demons in him.
It's negligence is what it
is professional negligence on the part of the priests. And just damn silly.
If I was Christina, I'd been like, I'm not waiting for any sequel.
That's it. Oh, what 3 demons have you got left? Murder, madness and violence. Yeah, this is a man I want to spend my time with. I've just seen him attack the prayer woman who was shagging behind me back.
I'd have left him tied to the bloody church floor till they could have done something about it. What do you think?
It's untreated mental illness, isn't it?
It's untreated mental illness, which is
exacerbated by the bullshit of...
by that, and the fact that he fell head over heels in love with younger, more attractive Marie, and when she said, look, it's over, it just broke him, and he was already a man who was depressed. That was the only spark in his life, and then he's being fed all this crap about the prayer group and religion and all that, and it's just sending him mad, it's just driving him insane, it's making him more neurotic. But it's a tragic tale.
Yeah.
And this is a danger, I think, a warning.
God, imagine the 5 kids as well.
I know.
Yeah, I think this is a warning that people can get too much into
Good
this.
job the kids weren't there, I guess. They must have been at school.
Or, why are we going to stop at Nanny's, Mummy? Daddy's getting exercise today, sweetie.
Madness.
Okay, so we're going to end this segment of the show. We'll end on some fucked up facts.
We'll get into some more stories next time.
We'll do some more next week. So let's end the show on some fucked up facts.
Can we have the theme tune, please?
Facts, fucked up facts, facts.
Snowboarding was invented in 1965.
Was it?
Yep. By a dad who tied a pair of skis together in order to entertain his very lively children. He called it snurfing.
Yeah. Snow surfing.
Yeah.
That's not a bad name.
I'd prefer it to snowboarding.
Yeah, me too.
Snurfing.
Yeah.
I thought he'd have ripped the boots off the skis and stuck it to a board of some sort.
Not to be confused with smurfing. That's where you go with the shotgun killing smurfs.
I thought smurfing was a sexual act.
I was thinking it was going to be a sexual act, to be honest. It sounds like it should be.
Is that you hold your breath till your face goes blue and then someone
and then you give a gob job
or something?
Oh dear. Severed heads.
Do not use severed heads for a gob job machine.
Apparently wearing socks increases your chance of reaching orgasm during sex.
Really?
Oh, no.
Never worn socks.
I don't need anything to help increase my chance of an orgasm whilst having sex. Well, I'm a man.
Finger up the arse is always nice.
Do you have your socks on at the same time?
Okay, Michael.
I don't even wear socks for any point of any sexual activity. Even if I'm alone, I don't wear socks.
So you have a wank, you have to take...
You do wank into socks.
Well, I was going to say, what are you going to catch it in?
Bit of tissue.
What, so you take your socks off to have a wank?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. When you talk about something, you can't but help to picture what you're fucking talking about. Like, listeners, if I say to you, blue dragon, you've just seen a blue dragon in your head. If I say fucking pink flamingo, you see a pink flamingo.
Power of mind.
Peach just seen me masturbating in his mind.
Ah, stop saying it!
Next.
As well as couples in love, St. Valentine is the patron saint of epilepsy, fainting, plague, beekeepers and greeting card manufacturers.
I was going to say murdered mobsters too.
Plague.
Greeting card manufacturers.
But he certainly is nowadays. Plague's interesting though. What else was there?
Beekeepers, epilepsy, fainting.
Epilepsy's an interesting one. Why has there got to be a patron saint of epilepsy?
That's exactly what I was
I was
wondering.
thinking, yeah.
We'll have to let Jamie know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got a patron saint all of your own.
Alright.
Brazil could not afford to send a team to the 1932 Olympics, so they sent the athletes on a ship full of coffee. The athletes sold the coffee along the way to fund their journey.
Ah.
Always.
What a very intuitive way of doing it.
I would imagine when the owner of the coffee found out his ship docked in wherever the Olympics were with no coffee on board.
They'd been nicked by a bunch of Brazilian pirates that then turned out to be athletes. I thought they were fucking quick. Bastards.
I'm walking off ship
I
on
was
his peg leg.
chasing that. He had me bloody boat keys and everything. I was chasing him as fast as I could.
He had one leg and I still couldn't catch him.
Yeah.
Shift on that peg leg.
They didn't have the Special Olympics back then, did
The
they?
Special Olympics. It's called the Paralympics, my dear. The Special
I think
Olympics.
it used to be called that, didn't it, a long time ago?
Yeah, on South Park it was called the Special Olympics. I don't think it's ever been called the Special Olympics.
It may have been at some
I'm
point.
sure it's always been the Paralympics.
I'm thinking the 50s or 60s or something.
You're a fucking terrible person, you Claire. You're a terrible person. Oh, he's just special. Meanie.
Moving on.
Yeah.
The IKEA effect is a cognitive bias where you tend to overvalue things you constructed yourself.
I could see that.
The first image is Homer Simpson. Has definitely got that.
Yeah.
Everything he built is shit. He thinks it's great.
I once made like a seat out of an old bed frame, and you could like put your shoes underneath it as well. And it had wheels, got casters on the bottom as well. That was worth a mint. 'Cause I made it.
I don't think I've ever made anything. Well, I built furniture.
So
I built IKEA furniture.
I built flatback furniture, yeah.
I built a rabbit pen, like an outdoor run for my rabbit, and some geezer bought it off me for 60 quid. And I think it only cost me about 30 quid
That
for
makes
the
you
stuff to make it.
That makes you a carpenter, sir.
I know, that was ace though. But I guess I kind of valued it higher than it's worth, because I was like,
Yeah, I made
it
that.
was only worth 30 quid in material. Hour or two of making it, I suppose you could call it 50 quid.
Hmm?
I sold it for 60.
So you underestimated your value. You didn't overestimate. You're
I
the
suppose
opposite.
I got it, didn't I?
You're the opposite
yeah.
to the IKEA effect.
It's what my B&M bargains effect.
Yeah, the Poundland effect.
what would that be in, I don't know, the $2 store or something in America, would that be?
The
Or
99-cent store.
99-cent store, yeah.
I cut the Jesus effect. Because he was humble and he was a carpenter.
Ah. Does that mean the Peach Jesus?
There we go, another revelation for the night.
Peter's second coming.
I am Jesus.
Oh, man.
Not after last week with Barrett.
Oh, yeah.
I'm New Age Jesus.
What violent Jesus?
No, not violent. You've watched
Buddy
South Park.
Jesus.
Have you not watched South Park?
Yeah.
Have you not seen how the second coming of Jesus actually is? Fucking walks around with a bastard fucking M16 shooting up shit and that, doesn't he? When he goes and rescues Santa Claus.
Oh, yes. Well, okay.
So yeah, they've got me nailed. You know what I mean? They've got me down to the T.
You were just going back in time to kill people with an AK-47. Let's not dress us up as divine.
Just so they respected my authority.
Your divine authority. Well, someone get in touch with the church.
Any more?
Yeah, on average, silver medalists live a year longer than gold medalists.
Because they only ever come second. They're not going to die first either. I won't die first, I'll die second.
Maybe getting the medal determines the order in which you die. Do we know if bronze medal people die third?
Or
We need a longitudinal study about this.
We do!
Or is there something in the fact that gold has something in it that decreases your life?
Are you wearing any gold right now?
Nope.
You ever worn any gold?
Silver's got medical properties, hasn't it?
So it's copper? No.
Yeah.
Yeah, copper. It is copper. Yeah, it was copper.
So you're
bracelets,
thinking because they
don't
wear it close to her skin, it's
Yeah.
giving
Maybe-
them an extra year of life.
Yeah.
you? Or maybe because the person that won gold
Just had to put
exerts
that,
that tiny little bit more of their humanly
essence.
Well, you argue
ability.
they train a little bit harder. They might take a few more years off their life.
That's it. I think they just
Get
train harder.
injuries.
Their arts and shit like that. Are just
They could
give
have
up
a-
a little bit sooner.
Who knows?
They
They could have an
reckon-
underlying heart problem.
Well, they
for all you
reckon
know.
your heart only has a shelf life. It only has a certain amount of beats.
I've heard that before now. I
So
don't know
that
who it
that
is.
would kind of play true to that theory, because if you're working that little bit harder, your heart is beating a couple more times a minute harder. So over 70 years, you might well have wasted an extra year off your life just...
Fuck me, I should live to 300 then.
Mike's heart rate never rises.
Sweet.
I'm going for the metal curse. If you're gold, you die first. Silver die second. Bronze die third.
So it's better
Metal
to-
curse.
So it's better to come third than first then,
Yeah.
if you want to live.
Depends what position you are in the
Just
gangbang.
sounds like fucking fixing to me.
Or whether you come first or third just depends on what turn you are in the gangbang.
That's your form of athletics of choice then. Fair enough. How many? Of each?
I personally love this next fact.
Okay.
On the 14th of February 1784, there was a wedding in Derby where the couple had between them 7 thumbs.
What?
The bride had 3 and the groom had 4.
Never.
Are you suggesting that you taking particular glee in this, Mike, because this is in the beautiful British town of Derby?
Derby.
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 I have to spit
of
every
course.
time you say the word Derby.
Did they move from Broseley?
Are they like Fulham's like #1 enemy or something?
Nottingham Forest, isn't
Yeah.
it? Mike's a Nottingham
Not
Forest
Nottingham
fan.
Forest,
Their
not
rivals are Derby.
Who's it likes the Fulham? Nobody.
Nobody.
No one likes Fulham.
No one likes the
Nobody
sausages.
likes Fulham.
That's as if with that statue of Michael Jackson inside the ground.
Really?
Yeah. And it's an awful
It
statue. It's terrible. It looks nothing like him.
I'm surprised it hasn't been defaced.
It's coloured. It's colour. It's a colour statue.
Probably because it looks nothing like him. People don't realise it's Michael
Yeah.
Jackson. They just think it's some weird white guy with a funny nose holding his crotch.
Come on.
It's ironic that whether he was black or white really mattered a lot to him. What's like? So hang on. So they got married on Valentine's Day as well, 14th of February.
And they had
Seven thumbed
thumbs.
couple. I mean, wonder how many thumbs their kids had.
49.
Did it get increased per kid or?
I was just going with like the square root of 7.
So they're all
49.
movable. I think they can move them. They'd have to have extra ligaments and all sorts.
What was the year again?
1784.
Yeah, we
Wow,
can't even
that's
ask him.
That's quite late for physical deformity like that. There's some serious inbreeding going
Well, I was
on in
going to
Derby.
say,
Of course.
to be fair, they were probably cousins.
Or both sheep. Or one was both half sheep.
Did you love shagging sheep?
So I hear.
NASA employs a panel of sniffers who smell absolutely everything that's sent to the International Space Station.
Why?
I don't know, it doesn't say.
Well, that's frustrating.
Well,
Sniffers.
I know on the submarine, you do everything with as least odour as possible, because obviously the air is recirculated and reventilated and it's reused. So obviously as it goes through filters, odour does have some form of physicalness.
Yeah.
So I'd imagine because of the reuse of the oxygen up there, it's probably something to do with that.
So what if someone takes a banging shit?
Oh, you smell it.
Everyone smells
At
it.
the bottom of the ship. You can smell it.
Because the odour is sort of like grabbing onto the moisture in the air, isn't it?
Yeah.
In really small sort of, particles.
But the way
isn't it?
the way the air's redistributed, It could have something to do with that, maybe.
Captain gets a waft of the aft shat.
To be fair, on my old submarine, it would have been the captain farting right next to an air duct and be like that. And he'd probably make an announcement saying, right, chaps, you can all smell a bit of my own guff. That's what he was like, honestly. He was funny as fuck.
Should have had a mutiny again, or sniffing on this cunt's farts.
He was terrible, he
For
was.
6 months, mutiny!
He was terrible in the best of ways.
Yeah, you could
proper banter.
You could have taken the sub, sailed to Cuba, and fucking threatened it into becoming your own personal island.
I sat playing cards with him, getting drunk. Him and the XO.
Why are they all so posh?
Because they all go to bloody your Sandhursts and you're born in the upper class.
Yeah, you're usually the second son who's got nothing going on.
So I could have never ever been Captain Clair.
You could have been.
You could have been.
You'd have to work really, really hard.
So like my brother, he went
your way to the top.
private. My brother went
Dead
from
on-
private and got commissioned 3 years ago. So it does happen. So he's a captain in the army now. He'll probably finish off a major.
If he's lucky.
He'll probably finish
Is that how he gets to major?
He'll
Or?
probably finish his time in the army
He sucked
as
his way
a major. But no, yeah, so it can happen. It does happen.
This is the way you said it.
I know, as soon as I said it, I realised that's how I said it.
Thing is, that's from private, that's pretty decent.
Mate, he's done his 22 years, he's some now. He joined at 18, well, he's 17 and a half, I think he might have joined. And yeah, and he's 43.
You might get a desk promotion.
He's done 25 and a bit years now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so... And yeah, he'd done his 22 years, and he was warrant officer, which is the highest rank you become
Without
as a
being an officer,
non-commissioned
yeah.
officer. And it came to his time of 22 years were up, and they offered him the position to go to Washington. Whilst he was in Washington, he got commissioned,
Sweet.
became a captain.
Oh, so he skipped lieutenant.
Yep.
He could have been a British secret agent in World War One.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Captain Sir Mansfield Cumming suggested British secret agents use semen as invisible ink.
And he was
You know what though? What a fucking genius thought. Because yeah, it shows up in blacklight, doesn't it? But you can't really see it to the naked eye.
Back then?
It was just about invented.
I don't know if I want to jizz into an ink bottle and use a quill or a fountain pen.
Oh, what year are we on?
First World War.
Yeah, 1914.
Yeah, I can't see about
Black
that many
light?
black lights.
Was blacklight a thing?
Probably not, I don't know.
I wouldn't have thought it'd have been a thing, would it then?
Definitely didn't have the UV ones, did they?
Maybe if you hold it up to the light you can see it. I don't know, I've never spunked in an inkwell and
Or
fucking
maybe it's
written a letter with it.
Maybe it's something to do with like adding heat to it. You almost cook the jizz.
It burns a hole in it.
I'm thinking logically.
I'm just thinking you hold it up to the light and it makes the paper wet, doesn't it?
Paper look a little bit
Yeah, but when it's
transparent.
dry,
I'm
yeah.
thinking.
Yeah, but I've
He's
never
setting fire to
tried.
it and it's
Alright, tell you what, Pete, this
Lord of the
week,
Rings.
right, this week, separately, in our own homes, we were both masturbating to an inkwell.
Gay.
In our own homes.
And send each other spunky love notes.
I will bring you, we're both bringing our handwritten letters with our spunk ink. You can hold yours at the window and set it on fire, and I'll monitor the light and we'll see who wins.
I don't mean set it on fire. You could like introduce heat to it to like slowly like.
It's paper, it's gonna burn.
I was only jesting, that was just what was going through my head.
And if you're suggesting you hold it back, when you're showing us the light like I am.
I don't know what I was thinking, alright? I was just going with the thought that came into my head, and I was just
Going
wondering.
with it.
Well, accept the challenge, write the note.
I ain't writing no jizz note.
Ben wants a jizzy love note.
I know,
I
fucking
don't know
hell.
did you love note. This is science, Mike.
Well, I tell
This
you
is
what.
science, testing a theory, experimenting and providing analysis.
Well, you're at home alone, pretty much. Not in that sense. You got your own room and shit all week. Do 2 experiments, yeah? Write 2 notes. We'll burn one and just hold one against the light, alright?
Pretty weird news.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll film it and everything.
All right.
Will we?
Well, do you want the footage of me doing it as well?
Well,
Behind the scenes extras.
only for our Patreon listeners.
deleted scenes available.
Pete fluffing bed.
What? Oh, I don't like where this tangent's gone.
I'm not really enjoying this. He's got big hands. It won't feel right.
You never said that when Gabby Logan had her hands around you.
Yeah, that's Gabby.
Okay, I'll finish on this one.
Oh yeah.
The 2000 Olympics organisers ordered 50,000 condoms,
Of course they do. Everyone fucks at the Olympics.
but the Olympic Village still ran out halfway through the games. You had to place an emergency order for 20,000 extra.
Yeah.
All the Olympians fucking each other.
Yeah, all the Olympians fuck like crazy at the Olympics.
There's lots of very fit people
Fit
all
people.
together.
That's it. A bunch of ripped people all together. They
Hey.
want to train and fuck.
And they're in, like, sort of the big complexes, hotels, aren't they?
Not the Olympic Village.
But yeah.
I suppose imagine what you'd do once your event is over. Be like, piss up.
Yeah.
So once you're
It's
out.
obviously a knocking shop, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good on him.
I knew I should have gone into the Olympics.
I wish I'd have been an Olympic athlete.
At the same time, I could do like fucking archery or something.
You could do shooting.
Yeah, do archery or something.
Pistol
like that.
shooting, because that's an Olympic sport now.
Make sure I keep trim,
Yeah, you gotta keep them to fucking hold a revolver, mate.
No, I mean like for when I get to the Olympics. So
Right.
So I might pull a half decent,
Shall we?
like non-shot put fucking thrower.
Now she'll still be shredded.
Yeah, she fucking shred me.
Why don't we all form a UK curling team and join into the Olympics?
What, an English
English
curling team. Not,
We've already got one.
we haven't. They're all fucking Scottish.
Team GB, aren't
Team
they?
GB, they're all Scottish.
We'll be the Republic of Doristan.
I'm not being the scrubber.
I'll do that.
I'll be the thrower.
And Mike's a thrower, he can bowl. Two bowling, me and Peter Scrubbers.
No, I'm pretty good at bowling.
Well, we're taking turns then. I have a curl off and see who's the best.
I'll curl one out right now.
50 didn't, mate. On that shitty note.
that bomb shit. I'm Ben, thanks for listening. Don't do the favourite, don't join a cult, and follow us on Facebook at Cut the Ball in the Post-Truth Apocalypse. SoundCloud, we're available on that. Cut the Ball in the PTA, and most other places you can find a podcast on with that name. YouTube is Apocalypse Ball. Give us a like, a listen, a subscribe, leave a comment, leave a nice comment. Can't be arsed of trolling. You.
I've been Mike, thanks for listening. Peace out, may the force be with you.
I'll be Clair, keep an open mind, but not so open that it dribbles out your ears.
I've been Pete. It's been a pleasure. Aim low, shoot high.